Mobility is an essential part of our lives, with many people regularly using a car to get to work, drive to the supermarket, or take trips. As most cars currently being used run on petrol or diesel, they emit large amounts of greenhouse gases, making them a major contributor to climate change. Electric cars could be a promising alternative, especially when the electricity comes from renewable energy sources. If we managed to replace most of our cars with electric cars, we could still meet personal transportation needs and preserve many jobs in the car industry. As it stands today, the purchasing price of an electric car is quite high compared to internal combustion cars. But prices could fall significantly over the next few years through economies of scale and further development of technologies. The most expensive component of an electric car is the battery, and batteries are the pivotal factor for the success of e-mobility. Consumers want them to possess a range suitable for daily use, rapid recharging capability, and long-lasting durability. In addition, we have to consider the resources used to create batteries. At the moment, lithium-ion batteries are most commonly used in e-cars. As the name suggests, they're made out of lithium, but they also require additional raw materials such as cobalt, nickel, and copper. And the mining of these materials causes severe environmental damage and negative societal impacts. These indirect effects of battery production can only be effectively tackled through responsible and sustainable mining and processing. We therefore need a comprehensive and future-oriented perspective on e-mobility and batteries. Svetlana Ivanova is an expert in responsible innovation at the Institute for Managing Sustainability, and she has used foresight methods to scout trends, conduct scenario analysis, and identify the pathways to move towards a preferred future. Svetlana, how many tons of lithium and other critical raw materials will we need for a substantial shift to e-mobility in Europe?
Today, the European Union consumes about 10,000 tons of lithium, 20,000 tons of cobalt, and 60,000 tons of nickel for lithium-ion batteries every year. To achieve a substantial shift to e-mobility by 2030, the European Union will require twice the cobalt, 3 times more lithium, and 4 times more nickel to meet the demand.
In which countries are these raw materials extracted?
Raw materials for lithium batteries are extracted in various countries around the world. The European Union imports nickel mainly from Canada, cobalt from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and lithium from Chile. Because these parts of battery cannot be substituted and the European Union has little or no mining of its own, the European Union is heavily dependent on other countries. Extraction of these raw materials often leads to devastation or fragmentation of natural habitats. Take cobalt, for example. Mining of cobalt is associated with frequent accidents, long-term health concerns, and child labor. On the other hand, the extraction of lithium requires enormous amounts of water, which can lead to water pollution and water scarcity.
And what could Europe do to improve this situation?
There are 2 strategies. First, we need to establish responsible sourcing along the whole supply chain. Most importantly, we need to know where raw materials come from and under what conditions they are mined, smelted, and manufactured in order to prefer and promote responsible and sustainable practices. Second, we need to foster the circular economy by extending the lifespan of car batteries, making it easier to repair and reuse them, for example, utilizing them to store energy or power streetlights. Digital product passports are innovative tools that can trace the sourcing and manufacturing of raw materials as well as the usage of batteries, helping us to promote responsible sourcing and the circular economy at the same time.
The shift to e-mobility depends on batteries. Batteries require raw materials, such as lithium, nickel, and cobalt. Most of these raw materials are imported from countries where mining causes substantial negative effects on people and the planet. And the demand is set to rise substantially. In the resourcing project, we have developed a roadmap that contains detailed targets and milestones based on inputs from policymakers, industry representatives, scientists, and NGO experts, covering all of the relevant stages for the key materials of car batteries: mining, cell production, and recycling. The resourcing roadmap highlights 3 areas where we have to act now: sustainable extraction of raw materials through responsible procurement, a circular economy through design for recycling, and a level playing field through harmonization of standards. In developing the resourcing roadmap for the mobility sector, Stefanie Degreif and her team at the Öko-Institut analyzed both the current state and future trends of the mobility sector.
Responsible procurement has the aspects of transparency, the aspect of local development in the origins of primary raw materials. It's about widen the supply, the due diligence aspects, not only to sustainability, but to all 3 dimensions of sustainability. And it's about mining in the European Union, that we mine our own raw materials here in Europe. For the recycling itself, it's important to think about the end from the beginning. So design for recycling, that we know from the beginning how the product, the end-of-life product, can be recycled itself. A level playing field is about harmonization of standards, that we have the same standards globally. It's about international cooperation, and it's about the topic of formalization of artisanal and small-scale mining. And when we talk about international cooperation, it's very important that discussions and exchange between all stakeholder groups can be done at eye level, that we all listen to each other and hear the other's voice, because the needs are totally different when we look at Europe, Africa, Latin America, or Asia.
The transition towards responsible sourcing and a circular economy in the mobility sector requires the joint action of a broad range of stakeholders. The resourcing roadmap therefore offers specific solutions and recommendations tailored to each, especially policymakers, industry representatives, and civil society.
The European Union has targets like the Paris Agreement or the European Green Goal. And I think we all agree on that we need the transformation in the mobility sector, as we need the reduction of transport-related emissions. And with the roadmap, these targets can be achieved to really have this transformation to less emissions in the transportation sector. Also, with a responsible sourcing, we have the chance to compete globally from the European Union side with the US and in Asia, with the sustainability aspects. And also, when we have the circular economy, we have a less raw material demand because of the recycling. We are less dependent on the import of raw materials. Industry players benefit from the roadmap in securing their supply chain by using recycling, for example, ensuring the European legislation and due diligence requirements, and ensure the social license to operate in their production processes. For civil society and citizens, it's important to have transparency and easy to understand information. And here, with these requirements and approaches, we hope that citizens and CSOs can take part in decision-making processes, and that the people are very well informed about the issues of the lithium-ion battery value chain challenges.
The resourcing roadmap outlines how e-mobility can be implemented to a large scale in Europe without causing negative effects on people and planet. If you want to know more details about the challenges and solutions ahead, please download our roadmap for the mobility sector from our website. Are you interested in the renewable energy sector or the electronics sector? The Resourcing project has developed roadmaps for these highly important areas as well. They provide valuable recommendations on how to achieve the green energy transition. Please visit our website, resourcing.eu, for more information.